What is up, everybody? It's Coach Nick here. Welcome to another live show after the game 2 between the Heat and the Celtics. Crazy game, huh? This is a little bit like what we saw with the Nuggets and the Clippers here, where like a big lead, the Celtics seem to have control to some degree, and then the third quarter, it seems to me that the Heat need to get warmed up. They didn't quite feel comfortable there, which sort of looked like the way they did in Game 7 as well against whoever they beat in the last round. Who did the Heat just beat? Because my mind is mush. Anyway, the Bucks. So it seems like they kind of are not quite there and ready to believe they're as good as they are, but they are. They're really good. And you know what? They're going to make the finals. They're up 2-0. There's the probability of them now going to the finals has to be 85%, I think. If you win the first 2 games, it's got to be 85%. So it's not crazy to say like they're going to go to the finals. They got to really own this and believe it. So that's a real big key for them. They could get a better start, I think. Lots of stuff to go through, but we're going to make sure that we, make sure I keep my eye on the comments as well, so we can interact with everybody there. So there's super chats, there's everything. There's me and you. Thank you guys for being here right now. It's amazing to have had you guys around on Tuesday. It was a great show. This will be another great show, I'm sure. Everyone, do I sound good? Everyone sound okay? Let me know in the comments, and I'll scroll down here to see. But as you can see, I got one of my new displays up behind me. I got a nice Dirk one up there. So as we go along the next couple of days, I'll have more populating the background, so you'll see that. Love you, Maxie. Thank you. What's up? My goodness. Shinigami. Is that your real name, or is that another name that I should know about? Let's see here. Thank you, Kian. Let's see. And also, hey, give us a shout out. Let me know where you're from. Where are you guys all coming from? I know that this is all out throughout the world, but it's always exciting to see where we all come from. And I can even try and say hello in your native language if I can. What's up, Clifford? All right. So I really love, Talon is right. I love watching this Heat team. Now, here's the thing. The last time an NBA team won a game primarily because of a 2-3 zone in the playoffs, probably never, right? Maybe, you know what? I mean, we could say the Raptors last year with zone generally, but I don't think they were really doing 2-3 zone as much as they were doing the box and one stuff. And they would do 1-2-2s. So this is really staggering. And okay, why would you not do that? Well, back in the day, when they didn't allow zone, the reasoning was that NBA players would just light it up and they get great shot after great shot. But it turns out, you know what? When you have NBA defenders playing the 2-3 zone, well, that does something to you. So, Nikil Attar, hey Nick, what's going on, my man? Donation train, stop hesitating. Shoot threes versus the zone. Yeah, there was a lot of hesitation out there, as if they weren't really ready for the zone, I suppose. The Heat didn't play nearly as much, obviously, as they did in Game 2 as they did in Game 1 because, well, they didn't necessarily need it. But you could tell that, Spoelstra needed to do something to change up the rhythm of the game. And as soon as it started working a little bit, they're like, well, we're not going to change this if we don't have to. And you know what? They'll probably start in the Game 3 as well to see what the Celtics have to plan for it. So, Andrew Zhu, thank you again. Again, amazing with the with being part of the Super Chat. Jalen punished Bam when he drove Kemba bad in the pick and roll. Jalen did, okay, so let's talk about that. In the video today that I released, the Love Fest for Bam Adebayo, I showed how they kept trying to isolate on him by forcing switches, and it was going very poorly for them in Game 1. It was a lot better in this game, and I was really surprised. I guess they figured, you know what? It didn't work in Game 1, but we feel like we can get it to happen again. Let's see. If not, after Game 2, maybe we'll adjust. So credit to Kemba. He nailed like a 3 to start the game on him. I think he did it a couple other times. So in the beginning, Bam seemed like on his heels a little bit. Wasn't quite grounded. And that was a problem for the Heat. They really that was a big issue there. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on there, because in my mind, Bam is too good for that. He can guard Tatum. He can guard Kemba. Those guys are not getting around him that easily. And he can get his hand up and contest those shots. So I would be, again, if I were Spoelstra, I would not want to worry about changing anything. Now, by running the zone, they took that away, right? Because there's no longer any kind of ISO against an individual player. And so what were the Celtics trying to do? That's a good question. One of the things, okay, let's go. Canada, wow, New Zealand, Argentina, Australia. All right. How do they say hi in Australia? Mate, good day, mate. I will not do my Australian accent for you. Let's see here. Brazil. Okay, what's going on? Love Brazil. I was in Buzios once for a long weekend. That was amazing. Let's see here. Before I get into this, I know you always want to know what the Celtics were trying to do against the zone, weren't you? Let's see here. I would say hello to Extreme Mexley, whatever, but I can't. That's too hard for me to say. So sorry. Okay. So, lockdown from Melbourne, Australia. Well, hi from lockdown Los Angeles, right back at you. Although we're not really locked down, but we should be nonetheless. Let's talk about this. The Celtics, what were they doing? So one of their main modes of attack in the third quarter was to set an outside ball screen on the guard. And by the way, setting ball screens on a 2-3 zone is a really good idea. I actually prefer to set it on the inside of the guard and try and penetrate and split the two guards in that way into the middle. I think that works really, really well. But they were doing it to the outside with a guy in the strong side corner, if you can picture that. Do I have my, darn, I don't know if I have my thingy here so I can diagram this. All right, you know what? I don't see it, not prepared, unwell. So picture this. They're running on the right side of the floor, a pick and roll to the outside with a strong side corner. So there really isn't anywhere for them to go, but what they're trying to do is suck the forward in the 2-3 zone up toward the ball. Boop, they hit the guy in the corner, and he was driving baseline. And it just wasn't working. They were throwing the ball away, they weren't sort of in tune with the right kind of passes they were supposed to throw. The one time it really kind of worked was when Jaylen Brown went baseline and threw himself into Olynyk, who backed up and got out of the way, and they called the foul anyway. So we'll have to talk a little bit about the foul calls because there were some weird ones. And I started scratching my head because it felt a little bit like it was, against. It was in favor of the Celtics. It was a little bit weird, and you kind of wonder about that stuff only because what's going on here with the referees? Do they want a 1-1? What does the league want? Is the league concerned about a sweep? So that was interesting. So that was the one chance they got an and one from that, but it didn't really work other than that. And I tell you, it'll be in the video coming up tomorrow morning or whenever I get it done as quickly as I can because obviously it's going to be a real big key. So we have some more super chats. Thank you guys so much. Wow. James Faustino, we Miami, shout out from the Philippines. Puso, what's up, man? Absolutely. Miami is a really fun team to cheer for because there's Tyler Hero, there's Duncan Robinson, there's Jimmy Butler. They all have interesting stories of overcoming stuff. Even Goran Dragic has always been a really good guy people like. Bam Adebayo is just I love him. I love the way he plays. He plays like an old school 70s center from the high post. Which, by the way, they really kind of went away from. Interestingly, they didn't run a lot of it in this game, and I got to check to see if the Celtics were trying to deny that a little bit more and pushing him out farther, because that might be the one way I would have prevented it from doing that. But you have to remember, Tyler Hero was getting backdoor beautiful dimes. Jimmy was getting dimes. I know that they got a jump shot for a Bam out of that in the drive that he missed, but he got into the lane and for a good layup there. So they need to get back to that, I would think, as early as they can in Game 3. Gonzalo Vivanco Basketball, thank you so much from Mexico. Bienvenido. Keep up the great work, Coach. My dream is to become a coach, but I don't know how to start. Any tips? Okay. You could start the way I started, which is I went back to my grammar school after college, and I just volunteered as a coach. I was the 7th grade coach and the 8th grade assistant, and then I went from there to the 9th grade coach in my old high school. So, everybody has a school they went to. You could start there. It's not a bad way to do it, and see if you can't volunteer or be part of that. And that's that's what I did. That's always a good way to start. So hopefully that will help. Let's see, Maxie, what do you think that the Celtics need to do to win the next games? So obviously they're going to have to solve the zone because Spoelstra is going to keep doing it over and over again until they solve it. And I don't blame them. So they're going to have to solve the zone. Like I mentioned, inside ball screens on that guard will really help. I bet you Stevens is going to be calling some of his college friends or something and ask them what they should do. I would, or who knows what he's going to do, but get some interesting plays, work on it all day tomorrow with them. The problem is if you're going to add something new with a new wrinkle, that's a little bit of an interesting thing to try and then execute in a Game 3 of a playoff game, right? I have seen some NBA teams in practice, they put in a set like that for something, and then that night, boom, they run it flawlessly. And I've seen NBA teams who cannot do that. I would imagine that the Celtics have that ability to do it, and certainly with the way Brad Stevens can explain it and teach it, they should be able to implement it without having to go crazy 5-on-5 and risk injury in a practice. So that's going to be the biggest thing, I would think. What else is there that I have to? What I would say about the Celtics? They gave up a lot of threes, and you could probably, for Duncan Robinson, all of them were almost all on handoffs, and it's full speed. Which, and I'm forgetting I left my air conditioning on. So if it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn it off. But maybe we'll deal for right now. Let me know in the comments. I'll scroll down here. You hear the air conditioning? Anyhow, so really quickly, and I'll definitely go over this. As far as defending, Duncan Robinson coming around, it's all handoffs. So I have a video. If you're a coach, and Kashish, what's up, my man? If you're a coach and you're looking for, I actually did a video which you can buy on my website, which details the 4 must-have actions in anyone's offense. One of those actions needs to be the ability for players to sprint into a catch. And obviously, handoffs are a great way to do that. Give them 15 feet of space to leave the defender behind, get the handoff, and then if you get good at that, like Duncan Robinson is, then you don't even need much room. We saw an amazing shot of his. Well, one of them we shot that I'm still blown away is that left corner 3 where he didn't dip, or he just literally caught it on the way up and just let it go. I don't think you can do that easily from the wings, but from the corner, I mean, it was beautiful and just a testament to the kind of, I'm sure, the variability training he's going through to be ready for that stuff. It's amazing. But anyway, the point being to defend that, you need to top lock him. So you almost have to be on the high side of him to sort of just simply not let him run off screens into a handoff. Force him to the baseline, force him back door. He doesn't take 2-point shots. So, maybe even give him an opening where he can get in there or something like that could help. That would probably be another big adjustment I'd be looking for Game 4 or Game 3. Anthony Futano, thank you so much, man. You love my videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it on the old in the old super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. I got a lot of notes, but the funny thing was, his last show, I never had a chance to even get to them because everyone was just asking such great questions. So I'm going to try and dig in here. Let's see. Rob Batista says, do you think that Hayward can make a big difference in the series? Absolutely, but he's also going to be completely, out of rhythm, out of shape. Minutes restriction, I'm sure. It's a different team since he left, pretty much. I know it wasn't that long ago, but, they forged a different identity now, and he's going to have to try and blend into that. It's all a lot of interesting things. So we'll have to see whether or not that he can actually, get back into the swing quickly, because this is high pressure stuff here. Let's see here. Joseph Rodriguez, let's see. Coach, Hero in the fourth quarter got an open shot and held on to the ball. Was it the best decision? Yeah. So remember, they were up by 3, I believe. There was, I don't know, remind me, 15 seconds to go, whatever it was. Yeah, you want to take time off so you can bypass that shot. Listen, he makes it. It's a dagger. Everyone's like, whoa, and I know he's a great shooter, but I think he made the right decision. I think you want to, run the clock on that. That's a more important thing than shooting that and taking the, what he's wide open. It's probably a 50% chance of making it for him wide open. I think you want to take the time off on that one. Let's see here. Celtics won in the Game 7 like last year's Raptors, and the Heat won 4-1 like last year's Bucks. Whoa. Please don't end up like Bucks. Oh, I see. So you're worried that, yes, the Bucks were up 2-0 and then lost the series. I mean, here's the thing. The Bucks are a lot different. They had a lot of issues. I actually, if you remember, I called that. Even though they were down, they were up 2-0, I think I even called that they were going to lose that series because I could just see that there was too many fundamental flaws that were going to get exposed, and they did. They don't always get exposed. I'm not always right on those things, but that one seemed pretty clear to me, and then ended up coming up. This doesn't seem to be the same thing with the Heat. The only thing the Heat seem to lack is like that real swagger. They haven't quite done it before, and they don't necessarily believe yet. But when you can see it in little pieces of the game when they do, and it's kind of overwhelming at times. We're like, wow, these guys, they're tipping balls, they're getting steals, they're really harassing the other team. Then they're raining down threes. It's a fun team to watch, and it's really well coached by Spoelstra, and it's a great story as well. So, yeah, and everybody, if you're out there, share this. Let everyone know we're out here. Let's get some more people into the chat, and let's see how we do. This is amazing. How can the Celtics beat the Heat zone? It seemed to really throw them off in the second half, created lots of second guessing and turnovers. really disrupted the rhythm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you want to attack the middle of the zone, and so they had hit Marcus Smart on the free throw line, which I like because that kind of sucks in the defense, but they kind of panicked and quickly were throwing shots out. The Heat are very good. They're very good at being able to stunt into the ball where it's there in the middle and then get right back out. But they're going to have to use skip passing. They're going to have to use some flare screening. So if they throw the ball to the free throw line, you're going to have somebody like in the low block and then back screening the forward and then the guy in the corner shooting it. Or if it's a guy who is an athlete, can be cutting the basket and you lob it. So you want to attack that free throw line area. Either the elbows or the middle is okay. And that should get you good shots, but they clearly were not prepared, ready, in rhythm. They were just kind of freaking out about it, and it was weird. Let's see here. How crucial is Goran to the Heat? I mean, listen, he hit some, crucial shots. He had that step back long too that was not really a great shot, but he nailed it to give them that, I think, a 6-point cushion, which was huge because Jaylen Brown then hits a 3 to cut it in half. He just seems to be there when they need it to create something. He's not LeBron, he's not Michael, he's not like the guy who can create any kind of shot he wants, but he is crafty. He knows how to use that off arm a little bit. Did you notice that little runner he got off the glass when he had the right arm against not Williams is not in there, but the other small center off the bench for the Celtics. Excuse my Edwards maybe. Edwards. Anyway, he got it out there. They didn't call it. He's a veteran. They're going to give him some respect. And he more importantly hit the shot. It's not an easy shot at all. Let's see. Should the Celtics move the weak side more against zone on dribble drives, like using some hammer action? It's what I just described pretty much as the hammer action is to get that back screen on the forward. You got to be able to freeze dribble, which means suck 2 defenders in and then kick out. And that's where you're going to get some good action. That said, there was penetration by the Celtics. They did a good job even off the dribble to get in and past the first defender. But then they got at least one more, if not 2, right there behind them as part of that zone. That's what gets you crazy because now you're going faster than you wanted to, and you got to make really quick decisions and read. It's not easy. So I would anticipate that they'll be a lot better at it, and we'll see the zone have to be turned off a little bit more often. I think I can't imagine that Stevens won't develop more focused attacks on that zone. Okay, let's see here. What else do we have? You know what? Let's tweet everybody out and let everyone know we're still out here. We are still going strong. Join us. You can see me as I tweet myself. I wonder if everyone's getting screwed up by the original title that I changed and it's still reading as Nuggets Clippers. Oh well, we'll see. Anyway, my fault. I'm still getting used to the whole live thing and getting it set up properly. Forgive me. Coach, do you think Andre should have played in the second half? Wait, this thing needs to stop scrolling. Well, wherever that question went, did I think Andre should have played in the second half? He's interesting because he did nicely in the game 1 and he helped them. I know he got in there and I think he got a quick foul. It was kind of a bad foul, and he really likes to reach, and he really gets the benefit of the doubt because he's got that reputation of being a good defender. I just think that at some point when he would have come in was during that run when the Heat were doing so well, and I don't think Spoelstra wanted to change anything, and that sort of he just missed his opportunity he would have normally gotten. But don't worry, Andre will get a chance to really do something for them as well. He will. I have no doubt he'll do some important play for them in the next couple games. Let's see here. Well, Sharp Kid Thugga says they can't attack the Heat zone from the middle with no skilled passing big man. Tice is not a threat from the free throw line, especially with Bam in the middle. It's a really good point. I don't know if you need to have the big man there. You could throw a guard. Now Smart might not be the guy to do it. Who would it be then? You're right. I mean, that's interesting. Who is their really good passer? I mean, do you even throw Kemba? Let Kemba cut in there and get the ball in there. That might be an interesting thing. Watch for that because Tice is not that kind of ball handler and passer. Who is the best passer on the Celtics? Is it Kemba? I mean, I guess you might say it's Smart, but man, I don't think you want Smart in that situation. Rulo wants to think, let's see, the Miami games, Miami overall just looks like a way better team. No, they don't look like a way better team because, listen, the Celtics had a really nice lead, and they were really hurting the Heat for a while there in that first half. So this is a very even series without question. And don't forget, it was the same way in game 1. The Heat pretty much stole that game. They were down almost the whole game, and then finally at the very end, in a stunning manner, in the last minute, took the lead and then went in overtime to take it. So No, the Celtics should feel okay about themselves. They're right there. They just got to figure out how to attack the zone better. Let's see, Miami or the Lakers if they make the finals. Oh, wow. It's funny because I was starting to think about that. Okay, because we have to picture Miami in the finals. Literally, we have to start getting prepared for that. I don't know. I mean, I would love to say, oh yeah, Miami, they're going to win, and they have a chance. But I got to see the Lakers play a little bit more in this conference finals and get a handle on what their deal is first. And then I'll be able to get a handle on it. I haven't quite figured that out yet, what I feel about them. Trying to choose against LeBron James is usually a bad proposition. But do they match up well against the Lakers? I mean, not really, because Bam would have to guard either. I mean, listen, the Lakers go JaVale and they probably will to try to start. If they go JaVale, LeBron, AD, then you got like Bam has got to guard probably AD. I got to look at how they did it in the regular season, but Bam would guard AD, then put Jimmy on LeBron, then you're gonna. I guess they're gonna probably throw Duncan Robinson on JaVale, which might be okay, but like JaVale would probably get some lobs, whatever. But again, JaVale will play 10 minutes or something, or 15 minutes of the game. So that'll be interesting. So they don't really match up well on that side, but you flip it around, and all of a sudden it's like who's going to chase Duncan Robinson around? That would be interesting. They don't match up horribly well that way either. So how impactful was Crowder and Butler in the defensive end in the fourth? Crowder, I'm trying to go through my mind's eye on Crowder right now because for me, I kind of feel like he might be a little bit of the weak link. He's been playing really well, and when he's shooting well, God, great. Play him all the minutes you can play him. But there are times when he'll take shots, you're like, what was that? And I think he even did one, and he got an and one on a three-pointer, which was a kind of a very debatable call and a really not a great idea for a shot. But he hit it. So he's shooting really well, and that really helps because he does do a lot of the other things really nicely as well. But the concern with him is, in my mind, is decision making. Is he going to take a bad shot? Is he going to drive when he shouldn't? And defensively, he's solid. But how about that Jimmy Butler save off of that deflection? Left-handed save going out of bounds, and then they get it up and he gets a dunk out of that because the Celtics didn't run back hard enough. Those are the plays that okay, they're going to win this game because the basketball gods are going to reward that kind of, effort. I mean, that was amazing. So that was, Butler, I thought in the fourth quarter was great, really causing a lot of havoc, and that's what they got him for. Let's see here. Should Brad Stevens give more minutes to Robert Williams? I think he didn't play at all, right? Let me call up the. We'll go through some stats right now. Let's see here. Let me get the box score. I don't think he played at all. Let's see here. Am I wrong? Box score. Williams did not play. DNP, coach's decision. So that's a little strange to me. He went with Kanter, by the way, and Kanter played better. I mean, he didn't play better. He played well. He got down low. They were actually, by the way, that was what was killing them was, going to Kanter and then Wanamaker. Those two guys were playing really well in the first half. They were scoring nicely. Kanter gave up a reverse, but he wasn't completely exposed, and they didn't actually bring him out in the big pick and roll that much. In my mind's eye is correct. So so that worked really well for them. I don't think Kanter got in the second half. Did he? Maybe he played a little bit in the second half. But Kanter got 11 minutes. Yeah, so I think he probably ended up playing a couple minutes in that second half. It was 4 for 4 for 9 points and 6 rebounds. So he did his job nicely, plus 7. And then Wanamaker, played 24 minutes at 7 points. I don't think that Wanamaker scored in the second half. So the recipe they found to do well in the first half with those two guys did not materialize in the second half. And that hurt the Celtics as well. Now, let me look at what the two more important guys. So Tatum was 6 for 12, 9 for 11 from the free throw line for 21 and 4. But he had 5 turnovers, and they weren't good turnovers. And then you're talking about Jaylen Brown had a very quiet 21 points, 8 for 14 shooting. So I would imagine that a guy like Brown. I mean, listen, I think I've said this on Twitter. I like Brown a little bit better than Tatum, and I know it's a really hot take. But I would think that, and Brown got almost the most shots. Kemba got 19, and Kemba did play well, and he was making buckets. He was playing a lot better in this game. But I just think that Brown should be the guy taking the most shots. But I don't know if he's got that mindset to be aggressive enough to do that. But I feel like they'd be at their best. if it was him. So should Cantor be playing more minutes given that he seemed to free up drives by occupying Bam? I think I liked what they did with him today. So that's a good start. I think give him the 10, 11 minutes, 12 minutes and see how that goes. But, he's going to hurt you in the defensive end. And I know that Stevens can't afford that. He's really got to mitigate that. So let's see here. Let's go down. Let's scroll down. Let's see here. Anybody have nope, no super chats. Okay. Well, Lewis Rendon is really intent on asking a question here. What kind of players should the Heat draft? I don't know. I like their team. What would they be missing? They certainly seem to have guards, probably. And Olynyk is. I like Olynyk. He's he could be a nice what they need. So I think that they're okay. I guess take the best available player, I would end up saying right now. I'm not sure they have to address a need specifically. Let's see here. And then, Okay, let's see here. Any other good? Yeah. Well, listen, Gigolo Puff is out there, and he's going to clean up these comments. Thank you so much, Gigolo Puff. You're always there, like the shining beacon in the distance. Let me go to my I'll go to some notes I have here. So let's see. In the first half, Duncan Robinson around handoffs, hitting two early threes. Absolutely. I mean, the guy, you can't keep him down that long. But it is remarkable that, for even a split second that the Celtics defenders are going to fall asleep. And a couple times they did. They just weren't quite, focused completely. And boom, he's off, getting a handoff into a shot. And that no-dip three-pointer in the corner was beautiful. Now, it didn't really help them necessarily in the score, right? He was scorching, but they were down a lot of that. But you can imagine how bad it would have been if he wasn't, hitting those shots. ATO guys, Celtics players are arguing right now in the locker room. How do you know that? Who's reporting that? Am I missing something on Twitter? Somebody tell me. Celtics players are arguing. I want to hear about that. I mean, of course, they're probably really upset because they're down 2-0, and that's when all of a sudden the finger pointing happens. Let's see. Coach, you are a Celtics fan. I can smell it. That seems kind of silly because I think I'm a Heat fan, aren't I? I feel like I'm a Heat fan. Tyler Hero, do you think he's a starter for next season? No. I mean, if Dragic comes back and who else is in Butler? Wait, who's their other starter? I'm blanking. Butler crowd. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't think so. But he could probably be a part-time starter, injuries, that kind of thing. And I love Tyler Hero. He's going to be a really legit player. He is a legit player in the league. He's going to be really legit and continue to get better. So, yeah, he'll be a starter very soon. Let's see here. I'm 26. I've been coaching youth basketball since I was 18 in Lebanon. Your video is one of the tools I used to learn a lot more about the game. Okay, well, that's awesome. Cool. 8 years of watching my videos. I've been doing it for 10. I feel old. But, listen, if you want to talk to me about the coaching, and sure, hit me up on my email, coachnick@bballbreakdown.com. Let's see here. I'm going to scroll down. So people are saying that they're arguing? Because that's not a good sign. They shouldn't be arguing. They should be, coalescing together and figure out what they can do. But let's see here. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. Listen, Game 1 was very close. The Celtics pretty much should have had it, and you can argue. Game 2, the Celtics controlled a lot of that first half and really were there, and then closed the gap at the end as well. So this is not a sweep feeling thing. This is a thing where we're going to go 6 games. I have a feeling. And remember, I'm not convinced the Heat believe. And until they do, and that might not happen, they're going to have moments of struggling too that could hurt them in a game or two. Gary Washburn on Twitter, who would know, Gary is the man, is, I guess, reporting that there's arguing. Wow, I guess he's probably there too. That's interesting. I mean, listen, that's not uncommon, but, teams yell at each other. They get upset. It's a family kind of a thing, and it's a long season, and it's a long thing, and they're under a lot of duress. So I'm not surprised. Let's see here. Any other questions? Oh, let's go back. I'll go back to my notes. Let's see here. Walker looking better, yes, in the first half. So they ISO'd on Bam, he hit a 3, but then he drove on Bam and turned it over, so it was a little bit up and down. But they clearly got the best of that matchup for the overall Celtics attacking ISO on Bam, at least in the first half. So, again, I was surprised they did it, but they probably will continue to do a little bit more until Bam shuts it down. And I think ultimately it'll be a win for the Heat. I think if you take all the possessions where they ISO against him with a guard or Tatum, I think you're going to see a low points per possession. Let's see here. They're trying to reduce Bam's effectiveness by playing Cantor and going down low. Yeah, because Bam is, he's small and he's got long arms, but he's still, not as big as Cantor, who can bully him down there. That's what he did. So remember, the problem then is you're trading 2s for 3s sometimes when the Heat start lighting it up from downtown. But, that was a nice little adjustment. Although, I wonder if Robert Williams is upset because he played well. And you would think he would have deserved another run or two in this game, and he didn't get anything. I wonder if that was part of it, part of the locker room issues. I don't know. And then let's see. Hey, Coach, why would you take Brown over Tatum? I think I like Brown. I think overall, athletically, I kind of think he's got more even like potential, even though they're getting into their potential, into their whatever they have now. So I think I like the way Brown attacks a little bit more. Under control is not the right word. I just think that Tatum does create really tough shots for himself some of the time, and ends up being some really ugly misses and some ugly turnovers. Brown doesn't seem to do that as much, and so I just seem to gravitate more towards that. And if you're following that progression and they're both going to be improving, it just seems like I kind of like Brown's path right now versus Tatum's. I don't know. It's also just my spidey sense. What NBA team am I a fan of? I'm not really a fan of any particular team. I mean, I'm a fan of the Heat right now. I'll tell you that. The way they're playing, it's fun to watch. And I think I'm a fan of Denver now. I mean, certainly watching Jokic is just really awesome from a coach's perspective. So, Jackie Chan, are the Celtics in danger? They're absolutely in danger, and I mentioned this earlier. Any team that's up 2-0 has probably got like an 80% chance of winning the series. I can't think it's less than that, but maybe call it 75%. But that's like, you can almost guarantee, right? We've seen teams overcome that, but the first 2 games, that's tough, man. It used to be way back in the day, like in the 80s, 90s, if the team that won 2 in a row first won almost every time. That's definitely changed in the last 10 years with the three-pointer and stuff, but I still know that's got to be up there. It's still got to be in the high 70s, easy. Let's see here. What else can we say? All right, let me go back to my notes, and then let's see here. Yeah. Okay, hey, we got another super chat. All right. Thank you, Jakey the Snakey. Hey, Coach, big fan, love your content. Quick one. Who would you say is the better player, Kemba or Jamal Murray? Oh, I mean, I like Kemba. I really do. But what I saw Jamal Murray do in this playoffs, man, I had said on Twitter that he might be the best point guard in the league. He's doing this stuff in Game 7 of a closeout, playoff game. You know what I mean? That's amazing to me, what he's done. And the skill that he's displaying, the way he's nailing these shots, the way he's going to the basket and floaters, the way he's setting teammates up. It really is. It just blows me away how well he's played. It's not exactly as consistent maybe as Steph has been in the past or, anybody else. But, he's got to be in the top 3 without question. We've been waiting for it. He's just about there. And guess what? He's got a conference finals now to cement this or not. So I'm anxious to see. Debts without regret. All right. Would you be an NBA coach? Interesting question. I kind of would be. But I got my family, and I don't know how that would work. Having to be away from my family, for over half of a year, right? I mean, that's at least what it would be. That's really tough. And, had I been younger and started that way, and gotten into that whole thing, then it would have been a lot easier, but I probably wouldn't have a family like now, right? Or maybe I'd just be starting a family at my age, which would be old. So, I'm in that weird zone right now where it's like, if I'm going to do something with an NBA team, it would probably be as like a consultant or something like that, because I just can't see myself, full time. I mean, I would love to. It would be the most amazing job of all time, but I just don't think I can lead the family like that. Benton BC, who is softer, the Clippers or the Celtics? Softer. The Clippers were tough. They had the fake Morris tough guy thing, right? The Celtics, are they not? Listen, they're skilled. They are well coached, and that's all the toughness things that I look for, right? That's tough to me. It's not who's going to get into a fight, who's going to win a fight. That doesn't mean toughness to me at all. It's the execution under duress. Now, we didn't see that tonight, so that would say the Celtics are not as tough as we would have said in the past. If I had to choose between the Clippers and the Celtics, I don't know. I mean, I have to think that I have to probably choose the Clippers. Kawhi is really tough. Patrick Beverley is really tough in that respect. So I might give the nod. Those two guys kind of give them the edge. I would say. I think right. So thank you, Benton. That's awesome for the super chat. Let's see here. All right. Would Devin Booker fit in with the Heat? He would fit in anywhere. I mean, but it's tough because they've already got Tyler Hero there. They've got Dragic. They got Butler. So I don't know if he would get. That'd be like a tough thing to do. They have to throw Butler at the 3, which is fine. But it might be a little bit of too much of a wealth of riches there. But listen, Booker would fit in anywhere. Let's see here. Let's go back to my notes. So what else do I have? The refs aren't calling normal charges on the Celtics. So yeah, the Celtics had a couple of plays where they bowled the Heat over, and it felt like at least one of them should have been a charge, but they didn't give it to them. Let's see here. Smart trying to take Bam ISO goes very poorly. I'm trying to remember what that one was. I'm sure it was an ugly looking shot that came out of that or turnover. The bench very good for the Celtics. So there's the Wanamaker and Kanter I mentioned earlier, who were really good in the first half and then pretty much did nothing in the second half. Kemba, and that's actually common, right? Bench players don't usually sustain surprising play. It just is because they're bench players. Kemba was unconscious in the first half, and he hits another ISO on Bam. I think he had at least 2 ISOs on Bam for tough shots that he nailed. And that was big, but could that have been a mirage, right? Was he not going to sustain that throughout the whole game? Now, would Duncan Robinson sustain what he was doing? Yeah, he would. But Kemba, probably not. It's interesting. But then again, for the game, if Kemba's pulling up on that, step back thing, you're gonna pick him every time for that shot. And the Celtics actually were more lively to the ball overall in the first half. I thought that was a big key. It just seemed like the Heat couldn't catch up to the speed, and they just were like a split second slow in the first half, and that was helping the Celtics get to loose balls and make plays better. So, all right, let's keep. Oh, we got some more super chats. Thank you guys so much. So, Hsieh, H-S-I-E-H. Hey, Coach, is Coach Malone good at adjusting tactics during the game? How much can he respond when he sees the tactics Lakers have against Denver? That's a good question. Let me see if I can search through my hard drive in my brain. Does he make good adjustments in-game? I'm trying to think of some of the examples that we had this past series. Because yes, I mean the easy answer would be because obviously they kept turning these games around in the third quarter, right? And that means adjustments. And now what are the adjustments I'm forgetting now? This is how much my mind is mush in the middle of the playoffs. So yeah, I would say he's good. He's good. He's a good coach. He really knows his stuff. He's a lifer. His father was an NBA coach. So yeah, I think they'll be able to respond. The question is this Vogel, is he going to have any response? Are they going to be able to adjust? That's a real interesting question. I'm not so sold, but we'll see. Heat's ahead whenever I'm not watching. This must be from Japan. Thank you. With the yen. Yuan. How do you say, Japanese yen, right? Yeah, Japanese yen. I think that's the symbol. I forgot what the symbol for Japanese yen is. If Heat won the championship, would you have issues giving Butler finals MVP based on his numbers in the last few games? No, I don't think so. I mean, he's been the clutch guy. The problem is, I'm sure that Dragic's numbers must be the same. So that's going to be an interesting thing. But then you got to go defensive stuff like that and intangibles, and then you'd probably still give it to Jimmy. So if it's Jimmy and Dragic and the numbers are close offensively, then you could probably feel safe that Jimmy getting it would be fine. So that's an interesting question. But we can't quite get there yet, right? They got to finish this series. What's Bam's weaknesses that Celtics can exploit? I think is what the question was before this thing went nuts on me. Well, his weakness is he can't shoot from distance, but he's never really that far from the baskets where you can give him room. And so as a result, I mean, his passing is so good, his ball handling is so good, and he can really shoot from about 17, 18 feet. So there really aren't really many weaknesses. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think if you got him to post up, he had at least one clunker in there where he tried to turn over his, or at least one where he turned over the inside shoulder in the wrong way. So that's definitely one thing he needs to get a lot better at is posting up, his post moves. Great question. Mulch, who was messing up on the rotations for Boston during the third quarter. So the third quarter, they kept running pick and roll with Bam, and he's just getting layup after layup. And so it's the weak side needs to come over, but they did such a good job to space that with Robinson and whoever else, probably Hero on the weak side, and whoever else it is. But whoever is guarding like Butler, if he's not involved, just needs to come all the way over across the midline and tag Bam and get in the way. I do believe it was Tatum on one of them, and that's not really his thing. He's not like a guy that comes over and like blocks shots, even though he should be because he's so long and he's athletic. But I do remember that he was one of the guys that didn't do it. And that could be a problem they're going to point out. So, but the Heat did a nice job of just sort of spreading that offense out. I think that they were all to the outside, if I'm not mistaken. I can picture Tyler Hero doing a yo-yo dribble, that sort of Chris Paul fake crossover thing, and then throwing the lob. That was to the outside. When you do that, that gives you more opportunity to come from the weak side and rotate farther over because the ball handler would be throwing a really long skip pass that you can get back and contest a shot from. But it's really when you start going on the inside with nobody on that corner open there when you don't have any help, and that's when they could flip that and actually get even more stuff. Let's see. Andrew Rivera is late. So did Coach Nick already compare the Heat zone to Toronto's? I did. I referenced Toronto in the sense that the only team ever to win a playoff game playing 2-3 zone has got to be tonight. Because the Raptors didn't really play the 2-3. They played box and one. They do the 1-2-2 and all sorts of stuff. By the way, the Heat actually spread their a little bit of a 2-2-1 zone press. That was awesome. And they need to do that more. And I've been telling that for 4 or 5 years. I've been saying that teams need to do that, especially if they want to fall back into a zone. Start 2-2-1 and then let them take or make them take 5-6 seconds off the clock in the backcourt. So by the time they finally start looking at the basket, there's only 12 seconds left. I think Mark Jackson made that point. And I want to give Mark Jackson some credit. He's been making some pretty good points the last couple of games. I got to tell you, he beat me to a couple of points I was trying to tweet out on with a video on Twitter. Let's see here, Zach Winkler. How do you think Brad Stevens and the Celtics will adapt to the zone? Okay, so I think that the one adaptation they're going to have to figure out who to throw the ball to on the free throw line, and it's not clear who that is. I don't think it's Smart. I think it has to be Kemba. And then also, I think they should flip the ball screens. Instead of sending that ball screen to the outside toward the corner and collapsing the forward there, they should set it on the inside and then try and get the point guard going downhill into the middle and then opening up stuff to kick and attack. Am I related to Nick Nurse? Only in first name only. Coach Nick is the only reason the way we're at all related. But I think we're almost the exact same age, which is interesting. Let's see. Kawhi needed a nurse, not a doc. Right. That's you're right. We mentioned that in the last show. He stays in Toronto and he's still playing right now. Let's see here. Let's go back. Okay, so in the second half, some more of my notes. The Heat just can't seem to grab hold of the ball. They almost seem scared again. Yeah, there was a moment there in the beginning of the third where they looked like they did in the Game 7. They couldn't catch up, and the Celtics were really taking advantage and building that lead. I mean, they were up by 15. I mean, that was not good. And then it was stunning, like just flipped on a dime. It was crazy. Let's see here. Then Duncan hitting shots again. He started to get warm again. That's a great sign for them because they all feed off each other, and that's another thing that we also don't talk about as far as three-point shooting and analytics is how you feed off of the energy, and if you start missing a few, and then all of a sudden my teammate misses two, or my teammates miss 2 or 3, and then I'm pressing that I got to make this one because we miss a few, and then all of a sudden it gets the whole team gets infected. But on the flip side, again, when players are starting to make them, they all start feeling better about it, and then that sort of begets more shots. It's a real interesting take that you need to focus on as a coach. Rob Henderson. I didn't miss your super chat, did I? I see it now. Uh-oh. Well, anyway, I see it. Whoa. How did the Miami... Oh, my goodness gracious. Forgive me to the nth degree, Rob, but thank you again for doing that. That's my fault. I'll have to get something that connects to somebody that shocks me. I don't know why I didn't miss it. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. You know what? Maybe it's because you have a black and white icon. I don't know. How did the Miami Heat become the hottest team in the playoffs? Well, they're always a great shooting team, right? So that's one of the things. And then I just feel like game planning for them hasn't been great. That's the other thing. The way they're guarding Duncan Robinson, they're letting him come off of those handoffs. They need to top lock and get in front and force him anywhere else. Be a little bit more physical with him too. Maybe take a foul just to get him off of his rhythm. That's one thing. They got him out of the game, actually. I don't even think they meant to do it in game one. He just happened to get like 2 or 3 fouls and get into foul trouble. But they're going to have to attack him and try and get him out of the game because I'm sure he's really worried about that. I'm sure the experience of getting the foul trouble that early like he did was probably new to him and was not happy with it. So they should definitely try and make that happen again for him. So sorry, Rob. What else can I need to do something special for you if I can for that. I'm sorry. Varun Rizbud, how much blame is on Brad Stevens for the 2 losses? Celtics do not seem to have figured a way to beat the zone defense. Well, yeah, it's certainly he's the guy that's got to tell them how they want to attack that zone. Considering unless he let them figure it out on their own, it's not working. So it's his turn to do all that kind of fancy coaching stuff. So it's definitely on him, especially when you have a team that loses big leads like in the second half. That's adjustments. Those are things. Now there could have been some fool's gold in the first half that kind of gave him that lead, and we all knew it wasn't going to sustain. But you got to be able to give your team stuff that they can handle. There were some, crucial turnovers too that are sort of like, well, what's Stevens supposed to do about that? Because it's the players who are turning the ball over. But it's all the pressure is probably on Stevens as much as anybody in the next game. I'm anxious to see. And if they're all yelling at each other in the locker room, so Ethan Kreller just telling me Smart was screaming at someone in the locker room and stormed out. So Smart was screaming at someone. There's only a few people he would be screaming at because we can eliminate everybody who didn't play, right? And I bet you, here's my take, not knowing anything, all right? And that's why I guess it's my show. I can say whatever I want. But having been around people and things and recognizing the patterns of behavior, I would think that Smart was probably yelling because someone said something to him. Now, let's look at Smart's box score real quick. Smart was 5 for 13 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 turnovers, 14 points, -3 plus minus. So I got to refresh my memory in the play-by-play because I wonder if something down the stretch happened where he took a shot. Now, he did take a 3 that was kind of a quick 3 against that zone. So somebody could have been like, man, you got to work the ball around or whatever it was, something like that. And then he would snap and start screaming and yelling and storm off. And then when they ask him about it tomorrow in the press, they'll say, well, Marcus is a very passionate person and he does that and we're used to it, whatever. So I'm sure that's going to be the official line. So it's not that surprising. Oh, another one. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you so much. If you have a question, let me know. And then Fish Clout. Wow, that's a good name. Are Boston struggles against the zone coaching or personnel related? They could not seem to penetrate at all and also turned it over a ton. Okay, well, listen, you would ideally say, okay, you need shooters, and I don't think that there's a lack of shooting on the Celtics. Certainly, Brown can shoot, Tatum can shoot, Kemba can shoot. Marcus Smart's the wild card. I usually think he doesn't really shoot that well, but he's been pretty hot, so count him in there, I suppose. And so you'd argue, okay, it's not the personnel necessarily if that's the thing that we're looking for. So then you have to go to the notion of the way they're attacking and the way they're organized, and that could be it's on Stevens. It's hard to point anywhere else. So we'll all be keeping our eye out. So when we go to the post game show after Game 3, we'll all be able to talk about what do they do, what do they adjust, right? This is what's fun about this is that you guys are now out there looking for this stuff, right? I hope, and that we can now have a more detailed conversation about it. Jawan Ur, do you think that Dragic's scoring is a product of Boston's defense or just a hot streak? No, I think Dragic, this is how he scores. He's crafty, man. He hits those long twos. He hits those runners. He draws fouls. He's really good at all those things, and he's always been that way. So, you're not going to hold him down. He might have a clunker or two, maybe, but he's going to get his 18 points on a variety of lefty flips and then step back stuff from the perimeter. I don't think the Celtics are not going to just shut him down. Alfonso Vianney Cipollino. Should they change their scheme to attack the zone? Absolutely, they should. And we said it a couple times. People are joining us. Attacking the free throw line is a really good idea. And then And then, but the question is who's got to be the guy to catch the ball there? Maybe try Jaylen Brown. Maybe try him. One dribble, he can then create something for somebody else. I just think that it's a mistake to have Marcus Smart there. I don't think I like him being in that position there. And then, flip that ball screen to go to the inside. And I have a feeling that you're going to see that. I'm not, making it up or have this great insight. I think that Stevens is going to do that just because he's looking at it, realizing it'll work better. Let's see here. Let's go grab a couple more questions. And listen, we're doing well. Let's push on ahead. Let's get to an hour and see how we're doing. What do you say? By the way, it's so nice to have these games early, right? No West Coast games, although I'm on the West Coast, but it's so nice to have most of the country still with us and up. Definitely a big change from the past. So thank you all for being here, especially if you're on the East Coast and it's 10:31. Is Hayward going to be back soon? Yeah, I think so. I think that he's going to be ready to go, but that's going to be rough to inject a guy like that in the middle of a series. I can remember that the Magic tried to do it with, oh my goodness gracious, who's the guard from St. Joseph's, the stocky guy? It was really good in the regular season, but kind of came back and just, it kind of disrupted some things during their finals run in 2009, 2010. Somebody help me with whatever year that was. 2009, 2010. Anyway, so and remind me who that is. It's gosh, I can see him right now. I like his game with St. Joseph's. Anyway, so if that's any precedence, then they have to be concerned about the chemistry and how he's going to fit in. And I have to imagine he's going to be on a minutes restriction too, so that's going to be another issue. How he'll respond to that. Oh, geez, okay. The chat just jumped on me. The chat likes Jameer Nelson. Thank you so much. ZV22, John Martin Dela Cruz, anybody else? Tuma Sauce, Heat B, Raniel Roque, John Martin. Okay, good. Jameer Nelson, Chris Purcell. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Yes, Haiti and Mayo in the mix. I don't like Mayo. I'm sorry. Mayo should be banned. You don't need Mayo. I've been Chris. All right. Thank you for Jameel Nelson, but Jameer, I'll take it. And James Nelson. Quinn is almost there. JG Yan, just browsing. Big Len, thank you. Wow, you guys are on it. Jameer Nelson. I don't think I'll ever forget that now. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we have another super chat. Thank you guys so much. Let's see. Who's next? Let's see. I already asked that one. Jordan versus everybody. Love teams with multifunctional players having success over teams led by stars and unifunctional specialists. Spoken like a true coach, I imagine, right? You must be a coach. Because, yes, it's very satisfying when you do that. It doesn't happen very often at the NBA level, but every so often it does. Now, Jimmy Butler could kind of be that guy, and they rely on him in certain degrees like that, but not like throughout most of the game. It's interesting. But, yeah, they're playing like a team, and that's really fun to watch. And, there is hope for the future of the NBA if Miami is going to be the influencer across the board. If Houston is, that might be a problem. But if Miami does, I think we'll continue to increase awareness and interest in the game. Let's see here. Is Barton available for tomorrow? I don't know. I thought I heard something on the broadcast about that, but I didn't even look it up. I mean, listen, we have a internet here, and we can go Will Barton injury update. We can go to where do you guys go? I usually go to Roto World, and I click on there, and I see here it says, well, the most recent update they have here is today. He's reportedly been working out with trainers in Miami, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be available during the Western Conference Finals. So there you go. Live from Roto World. Let's see here. Ray25 Hua, thank you so much for loving the breakdowns. Thank you for being a fan. I appreciate it, Canada. I love all the Canadians because you guys are all so nice and you have free healthcare. Let's see here. We'll grab a couple more comments. Do I have any more? Let's see. Let me look at my notes real quick. Oh, so I think I mentioned this before, but maybe I didn't. The Heat really abandoned the high post action through Adebayo. And they didn't do the pick and roll to Adebayo down the stretch either. It was very strange. I mean, they kind of took control and it was working, I guess. They didn't want to change it, but it was a little strange to me that they didn't go away from that. And I have a feeling that Spoelstra is going to have to make sure that they get back in tune on that and run more of that high post action like I showed in the video today. But the big contribution in Game 1 was Bam's defense. So I hope you, if you got a chance to watch it. If not, go watch it, man. What are you waiting for? Well, after I'm done with this, go watch it. Because it's really good. And I love Bam. Let's see here. Kemba continued to be hot. The Celtics got penetration on one defender, but there's at least one more behind him in the zone, like I mentioned before, and that was causing a lot of problems. It really gets you scattered. I used to run a amoeba zone based on Jerry Tarkanian's UNLV teams, which is a 1-1-3 high pressure zone defense. And it would drive teams crazy. We loved it. Teams would have to come in with their own special offense against it. And we only probably ran it like 10 possessions a game. But it was so cool as a coach to know that they had to prepare so stringently for it. But they were kind of getting that kind of feeling where you attack a closeout of a zone guy here, and then all of a sudden somebody else is running at you, and then they pass, but then someone else is closing out on you there. And it's an endless series of closeouts and pressure and closeouts, and it made them crazy. They need to slow it down and figure out a more focused way of attacking the zone. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Swank Mastermind, thank you so much. Music for Life. Can the Celtics still pull out the series? So you're down 2-0. You absolutely can, right? I mean, listen, if you're down 3-0, you can. It's possible. But mathematically, I got to tell you, again, I'll have to look it up. Somebody can probably do that maybe while we're talking. The probability of winning a series when you're up 2-0 has got to be 75-80%. It's just got to be. So that means on the flip side, the Celtics have a 20% chance. Now, they win game 3, then their odds go up, and then it's suddenly different, right? So they really just got to focus on game 3. And they got to, obviously, and it's just the zone. They need to get better shots against the zone, not turn it over, and that will probably end up deciding the game. Now, remember, the beauty of Spoelstra is that he can just take the zone off, right? And all of a sudden, all that preparation went out the window. But then again, that maybe they'll score against the man. So we'll have to see how that works. That's the chess game. I love it, and these are two of the best. Swank Mastermind. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Do you think that Giannis would be a good fit in Miami, especially specifically how they run the offense? Wow, you blew my mind. Swank Mastermind, you are. Geez. Would Giannis fit in this offense? Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably as the point guard, right? Or, I mean, listen, you can kind of even throw him in the Bam role. But, Bam's a much better passer, so why would you want to flip that out? And Bam, by the way, I guarantee you, or I predict that Bam will have a three-point shot maybe next year. Like, he's got good form. He will get that behind the three-point line, I think. And if he doesn't, then it's coaching criminality. They need to get him behind there. So the point being that, like, they already have a guy like that, and that would probably be where you'd want Giannis. So, but, obviously if you can get Giannis, you get Giannis. And so that would be where they would play him. So, yeah, he could fit in that role for sure. Jordan versus everybody. Oh, my goodness. Thank you again. At times, the Nuggets reminded me of the 2014 Spurs, except Jokic is much better than Boris Diaw. Yes, that is true. The Nuggets, I mean, kind of. I don't know if Jamal Murray, the way he's scoring reminds me of the Spurs very much, right? They didn't really have a guy who's shooting off the dribble like that. And even like the floaters that he shoots compared to like the floaters that you get from Tony Parker are different, but they do run the loop. They do run a couple of the same sets that the Spurs did too. So there is a similarity there stylistically. So there's something there. I hear you. William Chan, thank you so much. Do you think the NBA coaches ever refer to your vids? Well, is it just you and me, William? It's just you and me talking. No one else can hear. Well, let's just say that it's likely that there are people in the NBA that watch the videos. And and let's just say that I'm not speaking like I'm making that up. How about that? Ramona K, can the Heat pull it off and win it all? Yes, they can. I think so. I love the story. I love the way they play. Spoelstra's a great coach. He'll have them prepared in a 7-game series. It's different than like a 1-game playoff. So they definitely have a chance. Now, can they get overwhelmed by the size of the Lakers, for instance? Yeah, and that's going to be really rough for them to have to deal with that. But so everyone's going to have to deal with that. So if anyone's going to have a chance to beat them, they're right there. Now, can the Lakers guard their three-point shooting? Like, maybe not, probably not. So that'll be a really interesting thing. And Gigolo Puff, you are right. The playoffs have been amazing. Really fun and great to see what these guys can do at their full power. They're not traveling around. They're not tired. They're ready to go. Their rhythm, backgrounds, they're used to the stadiums. They're not changing. It's really amazing. Tony Poros, thank you so much. Hopefully I said that right. Oh, not even that. Well, listen, if you have a question, I'll definitely answer it here. Tony, what are you saying? Who do you think The Rockets choose as head coach. Oh, okay. So here's my. Did you see my prediction from Tuesday? D'Antoni to Philly. Remember that? If you were watching, I called that, and that's already the report. Remember, he was already an assistant coach there, and they were going to replace him, replace Brett Brown with him back then before he took the Houston job, and then the Houston job opened up and he got out of there. So D'Antoni's going to the Sixers. I had predicted that Donovan's taking the New Orleans job, but you know what? Does Donovan go? No, Donovan probably won't go to Houston because of Russ. I don't think he wants to go through that again. So who takes the Houston job? Damn. You know what? I haven't ran all the numbers because here the reason why I think that Donovan's going to New Orleans is because the GM there, David Griffin, had already wooed him try to get him out of Florida back when he was with Cleveland. So that to me is like, oh, there's that connection, right? You're looking for those, those deep-rooted ways that people know each other. So then the question is, well, Daryl Morey, like, what's his connection to somebody else? And it's been a long time. I don't know. I mean, it's like who runs that kind of offense? Listen, they could get out of the box and bring the guy from the Rio Grande Vipers. I don't know. That'd be crazy. If there's an assistant maybe that's on the team that already knows a system that would do it. I'm trying to think. Well, Brett Gunning is a guy I know well, who's an assistant who's been there for a while, who knows it. So you never know, what's going to come of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did go the assistant route in theory, and maybe bring somebody up. But I don't know. But then again, okay. Thinking about it more, forgive me. You got Russ and you got Harden, so you probably got to bring in a name. They're probably going to demand something like that. So I don't know. It's a good question, man. I wish I could give you a good way from the Rockets. Let's see. Biniam, oh my goodness. Walda Georges. Whose defense is more a liability to lose a series? Kuz or MPJ? Yes. Also, please tell Ben Maris his toes stink. Ben, your toes stink. Great question, though. Who is worse on defense, Kuzma or Michael Porter Jr.? Man, that's a real tough one to choose between. I think that Michael Porter Jr. athletically has more ability, and so I think he can make more defensive plays just based on that. So I got to go with Kuz would be like the worst, more of a liability. How about that? All right. Well, listen, we've broken the hour mark. It's time to eat dinner soon, right? I know my family is going to be waiting for me. But here's a fun fact that Jose is giving us. Fun fact: the Miami Heat are 16-0 when leading a playoff series 2-0. Well, that's interesting. It's certainly a fun fact because it doesn't really apply to this team and against this opponent. But hey, okay. So listen, amazing stuff. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. Super chatters, really appreciate it. Again, I'm so sorry I missed. Whose was it? Rob's. I'm sorry I missed your super chat, but I hope I made up for it on the second one. And anyway, don't forget, we're doing this every night now. I'll do this after every game. So come join us. Let's keep making this a thing. I love it. It's been a while since I've done it before. Since the last time I've done it, since Tuesday or whatever. So anyway, I'll get some more graphics going. I'll update it for the next one, so it'll actually look right. I'll make sure to get that title proper. And I don't know. Other than that, thank you guys so much again. Love you guys, and we'll see you right after the game tomorrow. So don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?